Welcome to Sinful's Horror Stories. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to leave a like on this video. Leaving a like on the video helps my video perform at a much higher level, and YouTube's algorithm suggests the video at a far higher rate. If you're new, email your true scary stories to thesinfulsavant@gmail.com to have your chance to be featured on an upcoming video. Tonight's scary story video features stories submitted by subscribers just like you. Sit back, relax, enjoy, stay sinful. So to preference this story, I was about 15 to 16 years old at the time. It was my best friend's birthday, and she had invited about 6 of us over to play a few games, like Mario Party, Mario Kart, and Guitar Hero, and to stay the night in celebration of her sweet 16. So, at this get-together there was 5 girls including me, and 1 boy. After a while my best friend asked if we would like to go to the playground, which was about a 10-minute walk away from her house. Of course, being stupid teens, we agreed, not thinking of how it may be dangerous since the majority of us were young girls, and it was currently 10 p.m. Anyways, we walked down to this park and continued playing Grounders when we arrived, which, if you don't know, is a game commonly played in elementary school. The rules are, one person is it. The person who is it must close their eyes and try to sneak to the other players as they hide on playground equipment in order to tag them. But there's a catch if someone gets off the equipment and the person who is it calls Grounders while they're on the ground. They are then tagged. After a few rounds we got bored and decided to huddle around in a circle in the center of the playground equipment. We were just talking, joking around, when suddenly I heard what I thought to be something like rocks hitting the chain link fence that resided on the back of the playground. I hushed my group of friends. I looked over at my best friend asking if she heard that, as everyone looked at me like I had 10 heads. She asked what I meant, and when I told her it sounded like someone was throwing rocks at the fence behind us, she responded with the classical, "Ooh, it's a murderer coming to get us?" Naturally, I glared at her, flipping her off. She knows I get paranoid sometimes, but I have very good intuition and something just felt off. A few minutes later, after some more rocks were thrown at the fence, and I obsessively stared down the area behind the fence, which was all woods beside the house on the left and right of the playground, in paranoia, I noticed a light weaving its way through the branches of the trees. At first, I thought maybe it was just a headlight of a car that was coming down the street that connected to the street of the park, since you can vaguely see the headlights of oncoming traffic through them. But I soon realized there was only one light, and it was bouncing up and down like it was being held by someone who was walking. I quickly pointed it out to the group around me, as we all snapped our heads over in the direction. Coming up alongside of the nearby house on the left side of the park was a man who wore a hat, some white baggy and dirty sweatpants, and a black coat. He was holding a flashlight. Not the one on your phone, but an actual flashlight. He was too far away to guess his age, even when he sat on the swings closer to the playground equipment we were on. But we all collectively agreed it was strange since he seemed, a guess from his clothes, to be at least mid-20s, and just came out of the woods by himself to sit and stare at a load of kids. After a brief discussion, we agreed that maybe he was waiting for a ride, or was just resting for a moment, so we tried to brush the fact he was sitting and so intensely staring at us. However, we started to take note that after a few minutes of us resuming our very competitive game of Grounders, that this stranger was slowly inching his way closer to our group. He went from sitting on the one swing furthest away to the next swing a bit closer to the equipment we were on now, to the next, until he was just about 10 feet away from our game. The whole time he just sat there, watching. At this point, all of us had noticed a strange man attempting to get closer to us, and in an attempt to remove ourselves from a potentially dangerous situation, we made a group decision to leave. Getting up, we all piled off of the playground equipment, and in pairs of two, we walked down the stairs on the side furthest away from the creepy man. As we attempted to casually walk away, I kept my eyes glued to this figure, and as we neared the end of the street, he got up. Slowly at first, the man started to trail behind us, keeping his distance. I decided to keep my mouth shut at that time, because we're about to make a turn. I thought that if he continues to follow us instead of going the other way, I'd bring it up to the others. And wouldn't you know it, the creep stays hot on our heels, not only following which turn we took, but he also started sprinting towards us screaming, "You fuckers, I'll kill you." At this point, the whole group bursts out into a sprint. The adrenaline I felt made me run so fast I was ahead of everyone else. Everyone was ushering each other to run. I didn't even take a second to see if the others were behind me. That was until I hear my best friend struggling to run. She has very bad asthma. I instantly felt horrible for running off on her, so I ran back to her side, grabbing her hands and quite literally dragging her along, repeating things like, "Deep breaths, you've got this. Come on, we have to go now." This whole time the man was still running and screaming behind us and was catching up quickly. At this point, both me and another girl in the group took it upon ourselves to get my best friend moving as fast as possible, both taking a hand and running at a pace she could keep. Luckily, this park was only about a 10-minute walk from my friend's house, if even that much. And as we all piled in through her garage door, I turned to see this delusional man start running up the driveway. He got about halfway until our big fluffy savior ran to the open door. My friend's 100-pound fully grown German shepherd. She lurched at the man, barking as we gripped her collar, in an attempt to keep her from running completely after the man. Luckily, her sudden and loud appearance caused the man to freeze in fear, before running away down the park lamp-lit street. We were terrified for the rest of the night, and only managed to sleep after putting random items next to us. We even had a rake, but most comforting was our fluffy hero, just in case a creep decided to come back. So to the crazy creep who enjoys watching kids at the park and then chasing them home, let's not meet again. (1995) Every morning I drove over to Stone Mountain from Atlanta for a jog around the 5-mile loop as I warm up. Then I would sprint up the mountain once or twice to finish off. There was only one rocky part of the mountain cleared for going up and down, and it was the least step side of the mountain, near the main entrance. That time of the morning there was either nobody else there, or maybe one other person at times. One morning, I had been on the loop and was about a mile or two in, and this was one loop with a mountain in the middle. There was no shortcut or alternate way back, and a white van with no windows drives by kind of slowly. I took note of that, of course, but kept going as it was my only option. A while later, the van comes back around from being behind me, and I started to get seriously alerted because I hadn't seen anybody else out there at that point, and I was pretty well out in the middle of nowhere. The van drives past and disappears around the curve, then comes back towards me even slower. I was good and scared at that point, and started to run a good bit faster, tried to make myself look tough and as menacing as possible while I ran. The van kept going past without stopping, so I tried to talk myself into just being a maintenance worker or something, and thanked my lucky stars that everything was okay. Well, it wasn't okay, and about a minute later the van had turned around and came up behind me again, and pulled up just ahead of me and stopped as I was running towards it. I was trying to quickly figure out what the heck to do, and had come to a stop when I saw the back doors of the van fly open towards me. I knew I couldn't outrun a van in either direction, so I immediately decided my only option was to sprint up the mountain as fast as I could and hope to outrun them. Being so used to running up the mountain daily, and seeing how easily I blew past other people not used to going up, I figured I had a good shot at outrunning just about anybody. So I busted up the rocky, woody, thick-brushed mountain as fast as I could. This person took off after me, but I did not look back once. It was really hard. There was no clear path, and I had to dodge stuff and run in jagged directions to get away. I heard him behind me for what seemed like about a minute. Then I didn't hear anything after that. I still did not look back, just kept busting upwards as fast as I could. I got to the top, checked my scrapes, and I caught my breath before rushing back down the cleared path and back to my car. I never saw anyone else or the van after that, although I was scared to death and on high alert until I got into my car. Thank you guys who watched this video all the way to the end. I need new true scary stories sent in, or my videos will continue to be this short in length. I know a lot of you ask for 30 to 60 minute videos on the regular, but I can't do that without your support and without your collaboration. So, email your true scary stories to thesinfulsavant@gmail.com. My email is in the description box below as well, so send me some stories. Till we meet again, happy holidays. Stay sinful.